everybody. Welcome back to Shed Talk episode. I have no idea. I kind of lost track a long time ago. I stopped doing it. I kind of lost motivation for some things. But I have a new product. It's a wireless microphone. I own a set of these already. I don't know if my light is going to destroy the quality of seeing this or not. There we go. Maybe. I don't know. Maono, M-A-O-N-A. They're wireless microphones. These are dual pairs. So let's say if I have someone else that we want to interview, or we have that side-by-side, or I guess side-by-side and ATV show and shine, I can hook it up with one of the dealers. We could have a conversation about the machines. You can hear each person clearly, so on and so forth. That way you're not trying to wonder, what the heck did that guy say? That's one part of what we're going to talk about today. I haven't heard this dual set, how it sounds. I own a single wireless set, as you've heard in other videos that I have. So I'm curious if the sound quality has improved on these ones, as I know that they've made changes in the past year. I bought my previous set. They sent me this set to make a video on. This is clearly unedited. I've never heard it before, so you and I are going to hear it together. We'll see how it sounds. I won't have an honest opinion in this video, but I'll make it in my comments that you see. They wanted an honest opinion on how it sounded now. So, I mean, let's hear it. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously, I'm indoors, a shed with no real wind or anything else like that, but they got these cool wind muffs. Did I bring the wind muffs with me? Let's see here. I did, yes. So they got these cool little black things here. They're called wind muffs. They clip right into the microphone, so that's meant for, it's called the dead cat is what it's called. So let's say you're outside, big windy environment. What these do, there's two little holes right in there. Yeah, you can see it. And this has it right in here. You can't really see it. I can't even see it in person, so how am I expecting you to see it? And they just go in here and click, and that's it. It's on. So that will stop wind noises. You know, that whoosh sound that you always get. It drives me up a wall, quite honestly. I hate it. Usually I ride with just the wind muff on, and I never usually take it off on my in my helmet itself. So we'll see how that is, because I'm obviously not using it without right now. Other than that, let's start talking about a little bit more of trail etiquette with some. A lot of people are newer. A lot of machines are a lot bigger. The trails were never meant for these big 60+ inch machines. 60 inches seems to be the nice, okay width-wise, where most people don't have issues, especially in winter. I guess a lot of people who are on ATVs tend to seem to think that they need to go into the ditch so that the side-by-side can get through. You want my honest opinion on what you should really do if the other person's not moving? Get out of your machine. Go talk with them. You never know. Maybe it's, hey, can you move over slightly this way? I'll come on this side and we'll try and make it around. Or maybe, hey, I know of a good spot right back there, about 50 feet, 100 feet. I'll back up, or you come forward, or or you back up, there's a spot right over there that we can easily that's wider, so that we can both get around without somebody getting stuck. I mean, I know getting stuck is part of off-roading, but I mean, when you're getting stuck off of a groomed trail and it's a 3 or 4 foot drop, it's not as enjoyable, and you tend to think that the other person's kind of a dick in that sense. And they may not be intentionally doing it. And a lot of them are newer, and they have these big machines, and they're quite afraid to get stuck. So in all reality, if you just talk with the other person, that should solve a lot of that issue, so that you wouldn't have to think that the other person is being a complete asshole and so on and so forth. And I'm sure most people are accommodating. You're going to get the one out of every 150 or so or more of somebody really being a dick and say, no, I'm staying here, I'm not moving, you're going to have to go in the ditch. Well, then that's going to be up to your decision on what you want to do after that. But that's me personally, if that's what it comes down to, I would get out of the machine and go find out what, like, hey, can you move, or can we do something to do that with? Take it with a grain of salt. I'm only just a regular Joe person, just like everybody else. But that should be the best ideal situation moving forward with everybody in general. And a lot of trails lately in general seem to be getting closed throughout the Maritimes, and some new ones being created. A lot of it is not just due to people being assholes in general. So a lot of people think trails just get closed down because somebody pissed off a landowner, and that's that. The biggest thing since COVID itself, a lot of landowners' names have changed. And some people in general just don't want ATVers and side-by-sides or anybody in general on their land. And you can't really blame them for that. We could have never have once ever had an issue in that area. But when somebody says that they don't want you on their land anymore, you should never be back there again. Because the biggest thing is landowners more or less are kind of like the government in the sense of being on their property. So, and this is going to be a controversial spot where a lot of people have the notion that driving in general is a right or anything else like that. But driving, if you're off-roading or on the main road itself in your car, it's a privilege, not a right, unfortunately, because that's how our government is in Canada. I can't speak for the United States. That's a completely different thing altogether. But for in Canada, driving, whether you're off-roading or not off-roading, it is not a right. So even though, let's say, you buy your plates for your car, you have your driver's license, that does not give you a right to be on the road. It is a pure privilege. Same goes with off-roading. You buy your plates, you buy your trail pass for your area that allows you in New Brunswick, all of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, PEI, and small parts of Ontario for now. And in the future, Maine, not fully there yet. That's still in the works. As of today, June 3rd, I think we are, of 2023. But that doesn't make it so that you're legal, or not legal, but have the right to be on somebody's property to do whatever you wish. If the trail is right here, you have to stick right there. If the trail curves like that, you have to stay right there. You can't go, well, the trail curves this way, I want to go straight. You have to follow that trail, because that section of 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 5 feet, doesn't matter. That's what the property owner of said property has allowed you to be on. And when you deviate that, you are now trespassing on somebody's property, and charges could be laid. They could say no more in general. That's the absolute worst, and nobody ever wants that. But that's where many people seem to, and this happens year round, I deal with it constantly being the president for my area of the club. People tend to think that, screw you, I'm going out, I don't care what you say attitude quite often. But that's not the majority of people. 98% of the people respect that, hey, I can't go out on this time because it's been asked not to. And that's great. It's just, you got to remember that just because a trail closes is not because somebody was an asshole. It's because either the landowner changed or the current landowner no longer wants ATVs on their property, and it costs big money to make new trails. A lot of the trails way beforehand used to all be made with, hey, I know a guy with a dozer, let's go clear some trees, and away we go. So a lot of trails beforehand are only made roughly between 10 to 12 feet wide. And everything new that you'll see come out on the roads now are about 20 feet minimum, so that you have room for larger machines to pass each other. Again, this stands for New Brunswick. I don't know about Nova Scotia and everywhere else. But they were never meant for the masses that we have in the trails today. So somewhere, I think we have somewhere right around 50, 60,000. Don't quote me on that number. It might be higher now, actually, for registered ATVs and side-by-sides in the province of New Brunswick. Back when all this started, there might have been 15,000. So the average club, I know if I can speak for my area itself, when it first started, it only had 100 members, and then 200 members. And then it stayed right around that 300 member mark for about 5 to 8 years or so. And then we jumped one year almost at 500. And then we stayed at 500 for about 2 to 3 years. And then COVID happened, and now we're sitting right around 900 members. These trails were only made for that 2 to 300 mark membership. So when you now have almost 900 people on your trail just for your area, not including everybody else who comes to come visit your area, especially in the wintertime, your trails take a massive beating. They were never meant for that much traffic on them, especially on, like right now, it's pouring rain, and which is great because we actually need the rain because of the whole forest fire thing. I'm rambling on, by the way. I'm sorry. This is a lot longer than what I thought it would be. So you got so much more traffic, the trails are never meant for it, and there's only so much money that trail pass money generates. So for the $130 for groomed and $65 for non-groomed, that doesn't really add up to a whole lot of money, because let's say I want to fix a kilometer stretch, and I don't mean like it is in terrible shape or anything else like that. I mean it's a okay-ish trail. There's no massive holes, but I got to send a dozer in, I got to send an excavator in to put some pipes in, and I got to send trucks in, big rock trucks, 15 ton, because you can't bring a 30 ton in with the trailer. It's just too long. It won't fit in the turns. So he's got to back up from the road, go down possibly a hill, and then turn sharp again, and have somebody guide him at the same time. A kilometer of trail is roughly 15 grand, because it's over 100 loads brought in at a time. And then you have your dozer and your excavator, and you have operators for 3 different vehicles at the same time. So to keep one dozer happy and continuously working, you need 4 dump trucks. And I don't know if anybody has experience with this or not, but on average, it's about 4 dump trucks if you have a good operator in the dozer to compact the ground while each dump truck's able to bring a load, so that dozer doesn't have idle time. So if that dozer has idle time, then you're just paying somebody to be there $100 plus some odd dollars an hour. Well, and they don't want to do that either. The operator's bored as hell. They'd rather be busy. So you got to pay for 4 different trucks to come and do the job at the exact same time that the dozer operator can do something, while all not running into each other, and so on and so forth. And then you have your excavator operator, but he would be in and on a separate day versus the rest, but that's a different thing altogether. The amount of man hours that go into a lot of the volunteer part of it is quite unreal. I kind of rambled on because I didn't mean to go into this at all, but here we are into, this is just a general talk. I haven't had one in so long. I feel like I've missed you guys, and I might gain some people. I'll probably annoy some people and piss them off, and they'll leave the channel. But it's stuff that's got to get out there and be made well aware as general knowledge. Because a lot of people tend to think that, as myself as the club president, it's a screw you attitude. I do what I want. It's not. I try and do what's best for the area. If we had millions of dollars, we could fix the whole thing all at once, obviously, but we only come up with a limited budget, and you have to pick your main areas. Well, there's other areas that need repairs, but the biggest spots have to get fixed before the others. And if a landowner requests for stuff to get done, that's got to get done first too. So other than that, what are you working on this weekend? I've thankfully worked on mine enough that it's in half decent shape. And I should be out riding today, filming with Greg Troop, or Troop. I can't pronounce his last name. I don't really pay attention to people's last names for the most part. I'm sorry, Greg. He's down in Nova Scotia. He does reviews on a whole bunch of products. He's pretty good stuff. He's one of the main people that when I first started this a long while back, I would watch his reviews to get opinions on how stuff worked, basically, like what camera works best, what audio works really good. He was a big help in deciding, and I've purchased stuff because of him in doing this, and I've used that stuff until I decided to upgrade. Because I mean, you start off small, because who knows where you want to go with this stuff, right? You don't want to spend $600 on a GoPro and then how much on cameras, and or not cameras, but microphones and so on and so forth, when you're like, am I really going to stick with this? Am I going to edit stuff long term and so on and so forth? And so you start off with that cheap $100 action camera, and you know what? A lot of them do the job very well. The audio is very poor in them, but what do you expect? $100 or $600? That's a big difference in price. So don't mind me. I'm blabbling on now. I'm thirsty. So aside from that, I guess all I can say is like, subscribe, share it. Let your friends know about Bearded ATVers. Remember, it's just a name. It took me forever to try and figure out a name and color scheme and so on and so forth. Hell, look at this one here. One of the original ones where it's just white with the green on the outside. And I've really tried to grow Bearded ATVers itself, ATVing itself as a sport, letting people know that we're not just a bunch of hooligans, while at the same time having fun being a hooligan. Hooligan, who the heck uses that word anymore now? Having fun going out, playing in the mud, making straight stretches at full tilt, but at the same time, hey, there's a tree down, let's go take care of it. There's signs that need to be put up and everything else like that. There's a lot of stuff that I don't record, and there's a lot of stuff that I do record. This is going to be one of my longer rants, talks about nothing. I'm almost 18 minutes in, and I didn't even clue in that I'd be this long. I thought it would be a quick 6-7 minute video, but it is what it is. So if you like how this wireless sounds, I guess, look them up on Amazon. There's plenty of options of these Maonos on there. The single ones, the dual pack, whichever. The single ones are pretty cheap. They're like $80. The dual pack, I think, is $170 or so. So, I mean, if you think they sound all right for what you want to do, go for it. Remember, as it is right now, if it wasn't for you as an ATVer, we wouldn't be out in this sport that we have currently. We wouldn't have some of the trails that we have. And remember that it's mostly all volunteer based. So if you think that you need to go out and there's something that needs to get done, ask your club area if you can go do that specific spot, or if you can take care of a project to be done. So that way it's not just laid on your set directors who do that stuff, because they have a job, they have life, they have kids, they have everything else just as much as you do, and they don't get paid for any of it. They just take time out of their day to go do stuff. Like, I do most of my stuff during my breaks at work. The odd time, thankfully, my work, I let them know ahead of time that I need to take care of some of the stuff during the day, and they let me take some phone calls and so on and so forth during the day, so that I can take care of the ATV stuff for my area. If it wasn't for that, do you think much would get done? Probably not. And it doesn't seem like much gets done now, but there's only so much one person can do. But me, myself, I'm not just one person doing all this stuff. I do have a team for our area, but each person has their own set of stuff that they are doing. So if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't get done either. So I'm just going to stop rambling because I'm at the 20-minute mark. And let me know if you want to hear or see more shed talks. I'm going to see about putting a rad relocate in a Honda if he purchases it, and we'll get some footage of that going on, along with installing it, what to do, what not to do, so on and so forth. So appreciate it. See ya. Remember, keep your stick on the ice or on the deck, because I've been playing deck hockey, which is outdoors also for ball hockey. You might see some random footage of that every now and then. But in the meantime, peace. GoPro, stop recording.